Hi everyone, welcome. I was scanning my shelf looking for seasonal decks the other day. Came across this one, and this is the Anna.K Tarot. And it comes in a typical Llewellyn box, put out in 2013. Not a great box for storage because the cards move around in it. So you're going to want a separate bag or pouch for this one. It does come with a 240-page book. And I like the fact that she considered the RWS meanings for the cards, but also brought in some ideas and tips of her own. And it was nice to hear in the front that they're created basically with oil pencils on sketchy paper. So they were almost waterproof. She said when they were finished, she showed it around to quite a few people. And she couldn't find a publisher for many years, but eventually did. And she did some self-publishing first, and then a publisher found her, which is quite interesting, the struggles that we go through to bring this beautiful deck. Now, you're looking at the Fool card there. I'll just show you the backs. I like the backs because it has that, again, for me, the 4 seasons. I know these things aren't colored in different hues, but I still get the feeling of an earthy-based deck, a pagan-based deck. It has young, old, night, day. As I say, it's an all-round beautiful deck, and I think it needs some more attention. So let's zoom in, take a wee look. There is our Fool. Center this a bit. There we go. So this is the kind of thing that runs through the deck. It's happy, it's springy. Yes, there are some sad cards in it, but there's an awful lot of emotion showing on the faces. And she didn't use models for this. It was all from what was in her head. The Magician. Our High Priestess. It's a nice, different pose than what we normally get. And we can see the rotation of the moon, the cycles of the moon. Our Empress. Emperor. Reminds me of Alice with all these little squares, and like the Emperor, everything is strategy, the next move. The High Priest. The Lovers. And isn't it nice to see an older couple, that love continues. The Chariot. I like the S that the whip is making there for strength. That's what I see anyway. Justice. Not my favorite Justice card in that it looks like, I guess, a speaker turned on its side and a piano here. But everybody can find their own way through it and bring their own thoughts. The Hermit. So we don't have the lantern, we have a candle burning. And this candle is almost winged. The Wheel of Fortune. And if you look very carefully in the background there, we have an elder, or the older person who turns the wheel of fate. Hard to see in this lighting, but she is there. Strength. I guess facing your fears, because that lion's face and those teeth are very close. The Hanged Man. And, you know, if you look carefully when it's in your own hot little hands, if you pursue getting this deck, you can see the rain coming down. So there is quite the emotions that she's trying to bring to this situation. You've had to surrender, you've had to step back, you need to see things from a different perspective, and you almost might bring in some runes in some of the structures. The Death card is interesting. It's like, what do you fear? I can show you things. It's like you can't cross that path until you deal with something that needs to end or transform. We have Temperance. And instead of seeing her frontally in the pool in a lot of decks, we get to see the back and her, she's gone down to the water. She's brought water with her, or she's about to, as she ascends back up again. It's almost like going into deep thought and then bringing those thoughts forward in a more balanced manner. Maybe when you came down the steps there, if you want to use your imagination, things weren't going well, you were struggling a little bit, but it looks like there's a sense of ease now as she ascends. The Devil. The Tower. Definitely being split apart. And you still have a couple figures over there. The Star. Again, different take. I'm enjoying seeing some different type of images for the Star. The Moon. Now, when you see this card in person, it really looks like the water is quite hefty coming towards you. The Sun. No little baby, no naked boy. Judgment. Same sort of look to this figure here. The same attire as we saw in the Death card. But now it seems a little bit more approachable. That there is a path forward. There is our World Tree. Okay, so we're into the Pentacles. The Earth. The solid, the foundation, the value of things. And she's obviously either dug up a treasure or planting it, which is nice. Bring your own take to it. The Two of Pentacles. It looks like there was at one time more, in that there's another ring down here, and she's left the fourth one there, and she's concentrating on these. And it looks like the audience is quite mesmerized. R3. To me, I always go to art and creativity with the Three of Coins. But this one looks like fixing, repairing, especially with the little pouch on the side with all the tools. That he has the skills to perfect what needs correcting. Our Four of Pentacles. So instead of that person sitting in the usual RWS, clinging to everything, you do get the same sense here. But it's like behind the scenes, these kids have stumbled onto it. He's also got a whole bushel here of apples. And there's no sharing, it seems, going on in that one. R5. So this is where I say you get different seasons. You can see that it's winter as well as it's raining. There's quite a few cards with that rain going through it. Our lovely 9. So you've got the young and through the generations there to the elders. Now this is when it does get interesting, because I should have said back in the ace. Let's just see here. Okay, so if we go to the ace for a moment, she looks at these as chances in the environment, something in your world surrounding you, whatever is being offered. It's a chance, it's a possibility. It's the beginning of something. Then when you get into the pages, I always looked at it as the messenger card. Now she, Anna.K, likes to think of the pages as invites to certain attitudes or ways of thinking and feeling. So there is a possibility here to look at this card as an invite to what? Well, with the coins, to achieve something more solid. There's an opportunity or an invitation. So it's quite neat. Now with the knights, she said, and I found it quite interesting as well, that the knight expresses to her certain moods and spirits. Now, I guess that's the spirit of the person, but if you wanted to think of the knight as action, maybe looking and working with spirits, ancestors, you can just go crazy. The queens, she doesn't look at the queens or the kings as female or male in particular, but the inner emotions, values, habits, moods. So not necessarily meant to be a woman. And it looks like this woman here definitely has something she's nurturing in her belly, but it doesn't have to be a child. It can be something you're nurturing in your environment. Our king, and she indicates kings are of action, actions to do with your life, your lifestyle, that sort of thing. So here is our ace, a chance for what? To deal with a thought, a beginning thought, finding clarity. Our 2, now that is quite a sorrowful card, especially with the rose between them that has been cast off. And it's like all roads have led to this moment, and what will change? Really beautiful 4. Our 5. I like this boat instead of some of the RWS boats. It's rough, it's, handmade, it's different. The 7 of Swords. It's interesting with this little bit of light over here. There's that sense that even though you think you're doing something behind the scenes, there is a chance that somebody is shedding light on that. It may be that you're not going to get away with this. The 8, great interpretation. 9, 10. He's walked away. He's gotten up. Yes, he was injured. And blood was spilt. So our page, an invitation. or way of feeling. So I guess he's in combat there with, is that within himself? Is he practicing what he wants to say when he is encountering other people in his path? The Knight. Our Queen. Sometimes the Ice Queen to me. Cold but truthful, fact-based. King, strategy. And now we go into the warmth of the rods, which is usually the wands. The Two. Much younger person for the Three of Rods than usual. And this is a great one. Camaraderie. R5. Yes, Eight of Rods to me is messages, and definitely she's been delivered a scroll, so that's got to be fairly important. He looks a little bit disgruntled. Ten of Rods. Wonderful page. So we don't have the horse here, but there's still activity, action. Queen and King. I don't see the salamander coming up, but we don't need it. The Ace of Cups. Isn't it nice to see some cards with some snow? The Two of Cups. 3. More rain, and that's quite a heavy cloud. You know, if he turns around, there's some light over here. Things look much cheerier. It's like she's making a wish. R7. So I do think it's a deck for all seasons, definitely. And I think most people using it could pick up on the expressions on the faces, the body language, and probably do a really wonderful reading with it. Beautiful Knight of Cups. Starry sky. Our Queen. A more playful Queen of Cups. And our King. So, if anyone has this deck and has enjoyed it, done some spreads with it, I'm going to lay a few out on the cloth. Let's just see how it shuffles. It's been a while. Reminds me of the Alice in Wonderland deck that Llewellyn put out. Really nice shuffle. Okay, now because I haven't shuffled for very long, I'm just going to put out some piles here and pick a couple cards for a quick little reading. We'll just say someone out there maybe wants some thoughts and advice. Okay, so I'm going to take this stack here and go to this card. The Three of Swords. So as I said when we did the little walkthrough, there is a situation that has led to this discomfort that you're feeling. And it could be an inner struggle with yourself, or it could be with someone else. But there's definitely sorrow and that coldness. So with her back turned to him, it's like there is no remedy for a situation. Ooh, and the page? Well, as Anna.K said, try to look at it as an invitation or an attitude, something that you're working on. So we had this feeling of walking away, and then we have the page. How are you going to work through this? Even though you've walked away, I think the two of you or yourself with your inner struggle still has to battle through some thoughts here. And, do that sort of walk through in your mind and see what you would have liked to have said. And if there's anything else you need to work out. And then we've got our 9. And it seems to be that maybe there are some boundaries that need to be set. So if there's a bit of a quarrel here, think things through, decide how you want to present your ideas, and maybe it means now that there is that sense of needing to protect yourself just a little bit more and having some boundaries. You might have been sharing a relationship or something mentally connected you here, but you really got to work through those thoughts and decide. This is an interesting card. I'm going to look and see what it says here for the 9 of Rods. Well, what Anna offers in her book is that this 9 of Rods is about defiance and refusal. We believe that we have been hurt or wronged or laughed at, and so we refuse to accept offers of reconciliation. So that goes back to that very first card that we had here. Something is severed. There seems to be no way of correcting it. We turn away from what in truth we need so much. The card can also show that we feel frightened and threatened, although no one really wants to do us any harm, and it can mean that we bristle against change and hold on tightly to what was. And that's hard to hang on in a relationship, because relationships are always changing and our attitudes are always changing. So as I say, it could be within us, and just needing a little bit of time and space and setting those boundaries. Very cool. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, that was the Anna.K Tarot, and I like the fact that you get night, day. Look at the mist in there. Different seasons, energy, and expression that you can really tune into with these cards. Sorry about the glare there. So I'll put them down because there is a bit of a sheen to them. And just say, some things take time to rebuild, to fix. With the 3 of Pentacles, 3s for me, it's always building towards something that can be much better. Hope everyone enjoyed this. We'll catch you back here again on Craggy Brook. This is Lori. Have a wonderful day.